This is going to be a big second race. And I said I had some news on Ben Walsh. And, well, he's had a little bit of work to do as I welcome Alex Davison into the commentary box, because they had to change an alternator on that car. It's a 1 hour job and they only had about half an hour to get the job done.
Yeah, that doesn't work out well, but he's on the grid, so they must have done the impossible and got it done. So great job there, and good to see him starting this race where he should be. So Ben Walsh, after dominating that first race, starting on pole position. Trent Young came out in front for that enormous battle from 2nd to 8th. James Duckworth, Grant Ludby, Kyle Clues, Brendan Pingle in 6th, where he started that first race. Kel Tressida, and then Miles Bond, Paul Morris on row 6.
Adam Ubergang, who's been very quick at this track in the past, hasn't quite got the speed under him. David Sultana, ex-kart racer, same too for Best. Ubergang pouring water in there. The Queenslander's a little bit hot under the collar, I think, right now. Jeez.
Early, the race hasn't started yet.
Pour the whole bottle down there. I doubt we'll see Primer and Dunstan out for this one. Ruth Bowler unfortunately pulled over at the end of that last race, but hopefully she's ready to go for this race 2 of 4.
He's having a struggle in there. He's trying to cool himself down. And
he's got a balaclava on.
Oh, don't mention that. Don't mention the walls.
Famous Marcus Ambrose scenario. You know, Marcus Ambrose is the only guy to have won a race at Hidden Valley who's not here this weekend.
Really?
It's like a collection of who's who in the supercar world out there in the paddock this weekend.
That's a good stat. We saw him tangling back in 05 with Russell Ingall on the highlights before.
Oh, Kel Tressor a bit slow to get away here. So it's a really quick turnaround, isn't it, between their last race and this one, barely even an hour. And as a result, I think a few teams still not quite ready by the looks of it.
Yeah, a bit of a... So, okay, I'm not sure what's going on here.
let's just give this a moment and see where we end up, because
he's out there. He's going. There's plenty of cars still sitting on there. So obviously they're just funneling the cars out of the dummy grid. Brendan Pingle already out on the track, warming his tyres up.
Confusion reigns in the Aussie racing cars.
But I'm sure we'll get them all out on the track, ready to take the start in this race 2, Hidden Valley.
Plenty of kids here, plenty of families. You're a father of 2, off the top of my head?
Yeah,
kids,
2.
Kids would love it here.
Lily and Luke.
Yeah.
They won't be watching because they don't have Foxtel at home, unfortunately, but they would love it here. But it's so hot, so those families doing really well, bearing the heat and enjoying. It's probably a normal weather for us. We're all for them. We're sweltering here, but they're probably used to the heat.
Just loving it, I think. There goes the AU Griffith on his way out, and now we're out. We're off and running in the Aussies as we head around to the grid. You got to love the extended coverage though, because just back in the day, you'd never see this stuff of drivers sitting there in the dummy grid and all the chaos that goes into getting these things ready in time. And it's behind the scenes. You got Crompo doing his pit walks earlier in the day, going in and out of transporters and running around like crazy. And the funny thing is, we're on air like a Bathurst day today. It's pretty much live
Definitely
coverage the whole way through.
And the fact that we can watch, apart from anything else, we can watch all the support categories live.
That was, you were doing that earlier today, Alex, spinning out of control.
You. It's a 3rd jab, the 3rd cheap shot I've had today. So thank you to everybody involved in that one.
This is where you come out and win the next race and shut us all up.
Don't even talk, because you'll put the moz on me. Anyway, yes, hopefully that's going to happen. But let's, instead of taking the mickey out of me, let's concentrate on the job at hand here.
That's the lowest you've ever qualified here, 5th, because you've had 2 firsts and a second. No, that's me complimenting you. That's a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, look.
Your record in Carrera Cup, we'll touch on Aussie racing cars shortly, but this is a pretty impressive thing. So you've had 9 races here in Carrera Cup, Alex. You've finished first, second, third.
That's okay.
Bravo. That is good.
So after taking the mickey out of me, you're trying to pump my tyres up now to make me feel better. But
don't worry, I'll bring you down again when you're racing.
Hopefully we can, I can make up for my mistake today and get it back up the front, because as I said, the car was super fast. Purple sectors everywhere until I sprayed it, so I can't blame anyone else apart from myself for that.
Wind's picking up as well in a little Aussie racing car. Oh, look at that, it's picked up. The wind has actually picked up that umbrella and thrown it over the fence. A couple of them. So, oh geez, it's certainly windy out there. So the boys pulling up on the grid. And it'll be Walsh on pole position. Right in behind him, James Duckworth. And filling what is a very star-studded inside row is Clues. So Walsh, Duckworth, Clues, the inside 3. Young, Ludby, Pingle on the outside. Kel Tressida and Craig Woods in behind him. Gee, big names at the front. Now the question here, Alex, can anyone stop Walsh?
if Ben Walsh gets out in front again, I can't see anyone getting near him. If they have to stay in his toe, they have to stay within that sort of 5 or so car lengths so they can slipstream up to him down the straight every lap, because he seems to have everyone's measure through the corners.
Thumbs up from Adam Ubergang. Racing for you, Jeffrey. That was a sad moment about a month ago where his father, Jeffrey, passed away. So that's what that sticker is about. If you missed that one earlier.
All these guys, Young, Duckworth, Ludby, Clues, Pingle, they maybe need to not fight as hard in the early part of the race.
Work
use
together,
the brain
maybe.
a little bit, work together to stay with Walsh, because he's going to be gone otherwise. We saw Walsh get an awesome start off the front row in that last race. So let's see if any of these guys behind him can jump in. But Ben Walsh, another fantastic start, clearly pulling in front of Trent Young and James Duckworth. Clues getting a good start, but nowhere to go up the inside.
That's frustrating when you got the run, but nowhere to go, because Duckworth was there and covering him. And look at this around the outside. Ludby, no, he couldn't hang on.
The outside, too slippery offline, and after that attempt, he's dropped a couple of spots. He's going to fight for third now.
Good effort, though. Young's picked up second as a result.
It was worth having a go there. It was definitely worth having a go.
Still with speed, but just no room. Turn 5. They sort it out and give each other room to fit through there. Sideways is Ludby.
So after having a lunge for the lead into turn 1, Ludby's now down in 5th, 6th position. So he's got stuck off the racing line and been shuffled back.
And Walsh has done exactly what he needed to once again. Thrasher fighting with Woods there. He's in a Western Sydney Motorsport sandwich. There's 2 Mustangs.
So Walsh has got his head down, trying to open that gap up enough, which I think he's close to doing, open that gap up enough that the guys behind can't get a slipstream off him. They'll potentially get a little bit of a tow back there, but look at that, in the first lap, 0.6 of a second, nearly 0.7 of a second on the opening lap, so it's looking promising so far for Ben Walsh. But Trent Young won the battle in the first lap to stay in 2nd place, Duckworth 3rd, Clues 4th, Pingle up 1 spot to 5th.
Well, they're not working together, they're working against each other.
But look at the gap, how they close the gap to Walsh just on that one run down the pitch straight. So these guys have really got to use their brains here and not fight each other so hard.
Ooh.
Chances are they'll swap positions 18 times in 2 laps and we'll lose 5 seconds again. They've got to stay together and try and catch up to Ben Walsh.
Ooh, gee, there's a bit of tarp on the road.
Clues up the inside. Oh. Again, this side-by-side action is all working into Ben Walsh's favour.
Now it's Young and Clues. And Clues goes back to 4th.
Duckworth, you know, he's held the gap to Ben Walsh so far on this lap. They just got to try to stop fighting for a few laps.
He's a really smart young driver as well, James Duckworth. There's a lot of speedway running in the Legend cars. Very similar to these, very small Aussie racing style cars, but right now it's a completely different ballgame. He's not running on the banks around Sydney Speedway tonight. He's up in the top end on tar, and he's managed to get away slightly from Trent Young here, Alex, but runs it a little bit wide.
Duckworth off the road, but look at the sectors there. So Duckworth was 0.2 quicker than Walsh in the first sector with the toe down the straight. 0.3 slower down around the middle sector where the toe isn't helping him. So we can see that massive effect of the slipstream.
Young's chance
Young
now.
Up the inside, slipstreaming past Duckworth with a neat move under brakes into turn 1. Oh, and who we
that's
got
Michael
there?
Rinken, and that is really tearing a hole in that left front tyre.
Yeah, heavy damage.
Let's go on board here with Adam Ubergang at the start.
Adam Ubergang steering way off centre to start the race before any contact even happened, so that's going to be distracting.
Maybe that straightened him up.
Maybe that's what he was trying to do. They all got through there with a bit of contact, but...
And Rinken's pulled it up, so the Nissan Altima...
front damage.
Should be okay. Oh dear, it is windy here today all of a sudden. It's just picked up. Got a mini dust storm happening down there in turn 1. So hopefully we're going to stay with the green flag out at the moment, because I think Rinken's done a really good job where he's pulled that car up out of the way.
Let's hope. Let's hope we don't have to have another safety car.
Battle for second.
These guys would love a safety car right now.
Yeah.
Our leader, Ben Walsh, got his lead out to a second already, although they're hanging on to him a bit better, but he definitely won't want a safety car.
They really need to be careful about local yellows at turn 1 if Rinken's down there as well, because this is where we're heading towards. If there's a yellow flag, you're not allowed to pass. Do we have any yellows? No. So that's Smart work from race control. That car is far enough out of the way.
0.4 of a second just in the toe from the start-finish line, or from the last corner to the start-finish line. They've caught up to Ben Walsh. So that toe is really working for them. That group of 3 cars will go quicker through the air than Ben Walsh will by himself, like what we see in NASCAR.
Yep. Clues around Duckworth. Duckworth will have the inside at 5. Look at the way they dance around on the brakes. On board with Pingle.
They really drive the cars on the throttle. As soon as he starts tuning it in, he's just power sliding the car through the corner. But he's right in this fight as well. Left foot braking, go-kart style. You can see his left foot hovering above the brake pedal. Just riding the brake a little bit into the turn 7 sweeper there, getting a good run out of there. Brendan Pingle in 5th place, right behind Kyle Clues, the Darrell Lee Sticks car. Doesn't look like that car, but they're swapping spots so quickly, I'm losing track of it.
Pulls it in at the last corner, bit of understeer at the exit.
So you see him get the back out, then he's so hard on the throttle it pushes the car into an understeer situation, and that really affected his run onto the straight there.
And back for another lap they go.
So Walsh has that lead out to 1.3 seconds nearly.
So that alternator change hasn't slowed him down?
Certainly not.
Tressida.
Clues up the inside of Duckworth there.
And then this battle going on in the background as well. Tucker squeezing to the left. Shipwreck hits him. The dude is a part of this battle as well. It's Paul Morris in the green, black and red car.
It'd be great to see Morris get through a few of these guys and up close to the front of the pack. It's always fun seeing Paul in the fight. He doesn't hold back, and he's up the inside.
That's aggressive. Oh, the dude sends him.
The dude strikes again.
Well, he's here to ruffle feathers, and he's caused a bit of chaos down there at turn 5. In classic dude style, that's McNamara, who's had to loop it around and do the U-turn to get out of there. Let's just have another look at this. Was he far up enough the inside?
Well, he's a long way up the inside, and he's in the 68. Shibberus. So didn't give Paul enough room there. You could see Paul tried to get over to the right as far as he could, and Paul kept going. Shibberus had a bit of a spin, no damage done by the looks of it.
He's on board Adam Ubergang as, whoa, that's how quick it can happen down there. As everyone goes scurrying out of the way. Bad news for Blake Shibberus though. Hopefully he can make up a few more spots before the end of the race as we're halfway home. Look at this.
Brakes locked up the inside, but does a great job of pulling it up. It always looks like they're about to spear off, but
oh, Pingle
got it well under control. On board with Brendan Pingle again, shifting up through the gears with the sequential gearbox. Hard left foot braking, giving it a little blip as he downshifts 2 gears for turn 5 there.
This is building again, just like the first race. Very similar scenario, but unfortunately, from a neutral point of view, it's, oh goodness me.
That's
one upside down. I'm not a clue at trying to pick which one it is because it's lost all its bodywork. I think Harley Haber is the other one, yes. So Harley Haber is a part of that.
Okay, you can see him moving around in there, trying to get out.
I think it's David Sultana, and good news is he's okay.
Number 89.
Yeah, it is Sultana. He's a good old karting boy, mate, so he'll be all right. And here comes Haber to help him out. Some of the younger guys that we have in the field.
Show how you can see how strong that little roll cage, that little sort of driver's cell is there on these Aussie racing cars. We've seen some enormous accidents, and
we've seen some big crashes at turn 5 alone this weekend. It's an unusual spot to have such a big accident. He's okay. That's
great to see he's out of the car, right? The Aussie racing cars, nice and strong, standing up. We've seen, as I said before, we've seen some enormous rollovers in the past. The cars are so small, it doesn't take much to sort of trip them over into a big barrel roll, and they always seem to hold up very well.
Yeah, it just looks shocking because it loses all its panels and it looks like this exoskeleton of a car sitting there, but in reality,
here we go,
that doesn't affect these drivers at all, the panels falling off like that.
Through the turn 3, 4 S's there, has it? Or is that turn 5?
And then
no, turn 5 it is.
Up and over.
5, yeah. So they've car on the inside has just spun out, and Sultana's just tripped over him as he tried to get around the outside of him.
That's the way the whole body is one shell.
Body just fell straight off. So it did look a lot more exciting than it actually was. Easy to say from the sidelines, watching on TV, I'm sure.
That was incredible. It just shed its skin like a snake down there. Wow, that actually went over in a big way. Goodness me. Well, back-to-back rounds, we've seen Aussie racing cars go upside down. That was the end result. Did a really good job to get out of that. You know, fresh out of kart racing. And
it's a bit more to get tangled up in than the old go-kart. Fortunately, I haven't rolled a car or a go-kart yet, so...
Really? Is that true?
Yeah, I'll try and avoid that. Yeah. But I couldn't think of anything, you know, it must be terrifying getting trapped upside down in a car. You've got to crawl your way out through a tiny gap in the door.
They did a really good job to get out of that then.
Now, what I'll be interested in is if they can get that car out again this weekend. I mean...
I know it sounds absurd,
silly, but it potentially isn't horrendously damaged. The chassis looks okay, the wheels are all...
That body could probably go back on a one big piece.
But hopefully just a little bit of suspension damage.
He was clearly fine.
Yeah, so look, let's. I'll be interested to see that. They've got all night to
that'll be a hell of a story.
And get it fixed. So yeah, let's wake up tomorrow and see how they're going with that one.
That could be a mini Northern Territory miracle, that one.
So Ben Walsh didn't want to see this. That gap, his 2-second lead or whatever it was, is closed up to 0 now.
Hopefully
and Young, Flues, Duckworth and Pingle.
Here it is again.
Apart from being upset to see one of their fellow drivers roll, now that they know he's safe, they'll be very happy to see this safety car.
Wow, 3.5 times that went over. Such a relatively slow part of the track as well. So Haber had gone around with contact. Someone else said he was...
I think it was, would it be from Sultana?
Could have been. It was very difficult to pick up the start of that one with that tyre.
On the entry, and Haber was spinning out, and then they tripped over each other.
It was a slam dunk in the end. There's a couple of Sierras that did that once upon a time at Malala, maybe Bow and Mediki off the top of my head. This is like 1990 or something. Very similar accident. One guy turns the other around, and the guy who did the turning around ends up being upside down. Adam Casuccio now stuck.
Adam Casuccio.
And that's at the exit of turn 1.
Car has given up the ghost on him.
Well, there's half a chance of another green lap here. The thing's already on the flatbed, which is a great effort.
So at the end of this lap, we'll have 4 laps left. So we won't be getting a restart this lap. So if we're lucky, we may see a restart with 3 laps left.
Look how well intact that roll cage is.
Yeah. Perfect.
That has worn that beautifully.
And, you know, it landed on the grass as well, which will take a bit of the impact as well. Stop it squashing any of the tubes at the top of the cage.
So Lexus RCF safety car back out as it was earlier today. We've had 2 giant crashes. What's hanging on underneath that car? Oh, meanwhile, Craig Lowndes enjoying himself here with our lovely Crown Bet ambassadors. Is that the world's biggest selfie stick that he was going for then in the corner? Not too sure. Everyone's queuing up for a photo with Lowndesy. Remember this time last year?
Surprised you're not down there, Chad.
How long we got before we go green again? There it is. It's on the flatbed, heading back now.
They'll get that thing going tomorrow.
No worries.
So Casuccio's car being pushed off the track. Hopefully that's not going to stop us getting a restart. His car clearly not taking part in the remainder of this race.
Lowndesy's loving it down there at the moment. He is Mr. Popular.
So they're forming up side by side. Obviously not getting a restart this lap, but let's hope they can get a restart next lap.
It's a chance.
A 3-lap dash to the checkered flag.
I mean, likely this will go time certain, hey? Given this is a fairly big one. So I think this race was due to end at 2:38 local time, which is about now. So it's usually a lap after that, though. So we might even get a 1-lap dash. We'll see. It's in the hands of race control. I wonder what the state of that motor is. It was upside down for a while. Motors don't like being upside down, particularly motorcycle engines. So
you haven't turned any on their head, have you, Chat?
No. I thankfully haven't, touch wood, crashed a motorcycle yet. On my list of things not to do. So it's hard to say if we will get this lap in here. Safety car is pacing the field very slow, which is a good idea because that means that we'll have more of a chance of getting the racetrack clean before we get back to the start-finish line. But obviously we're on such a tight schedule this weekend with the Touring Car Masters, these guys, you guys in the Porsches. We've also got our Stadium Super Truck demonstration that's coming up. Toby Price versus Paul Morris, which is going to be very interesting. And there's we'll also have a third one out there as well to watch out for. But that could be very interesting indeed, sending the Stadium Super Trucks for the first time around Hidden Valley. Yet to be seen, and that's all about building the hype, of course, for our next round in the supercars, which is happening up in Townsville, where we will see once again the Stadium Super Trucks return to our shores, and the big names like Robbie Gordon and co who come down to Australia for that.
It's amazing with such a busy schedule over there that the whole field of Stadium Super Trucks still has time and everything to come down to Australia, racing both over here and at all IndyCar races in America. So fantastic series, so spectacular. It's so wrong. It seems so wrong to see cars doing big jumps on racing circuits, but I think that's why it's so popular. It's just different to what we're used to seeing. Scary though, but different.
So I reckon they're going to throw the checkers at the end of this one, Alex, I'm afraid to say, by the sound of it. So this will be the last lap.
Well, that's a pity. But Ben Walsh, again, picking up a well-deserved victory. Either way, he was comfortably out in front. And he's the class of the field this weekend.
Isn't he? He's done just what he did at Phillip Island, pole in the first 2 race wins. Tomorrow's first race will be reverse grid plus handicap. So the guys off the back will be sitting there watching everyone peel through turn 1, and then they'll finally get a chance at dropping the hammer. So that'll be good to watch, because Ben Walsh will have the better part of 30 guys to pass tomorrow. So make sure,
will be exciting.
Yeah, tuning in nice and early for that one. And this will be his 4th race win of season 2016, which moves him to first place in the stakes of at least race wins. The only guy to have won another couple was Brendan Pingle.
Well, this is a real anticlimax to what was such an exciting race.
Geez, you'd be feeling the heat too right now, cruising around at these conditions, these times.
They're all young blokes, and they got no windows. They'll be right. No windows in them. They'll be cool lads.
Paul Morris will be glad you called him a young bloke.
Yeah, well, he's had a good race. He was in 9th a second ago, and he's lost a spot under the safety car. So I don't know what the story there is. Maybe just because they're side by side.
Yeah.
That's manoeuvring around a little bit. But he made up a couple of spots, Paul.
So expecting a checkered flag here. Yeah, it's in the hands of our starters at the moment. I might let Alex run off and hop in his Porsche, because he's going to be a very busy boy soon racing Carrera Cup. Good man, Alex. Thank you very much. And unfortunately, this race is going to end behind the safety car once again, but the Dr. Inc. car, 2 from 2. He'll struggle to make it 3 tomorrow when we send him to the back of the grid. But they have really earned this one. Alternator change. The carburetors were off that car, off the motor, about 10 minutes before he had to be out there on the grid. So they've absolutely earned it. Another big crash at turn 5 finishes proceedings, but it's Walsh who goes 2 from 2, taking the win from Trent Young, who is runner-up in both of today's races. Cole Clues, what an epic battle that was for second place. He comes home in 3rd position. James Duckworth, championship leader, and really fighting to be at the top of the points this year, right up there as well. Miles Bond just outside the top 10. Adam Ubergang, a little bit MIA this weekend. Not sure what's going on with that car, just down on power. Chris Stevenson, Craig Thompson, Jeff Waters wrapping up the top 15. Milton just on the other side of that. We need